My sister can't have kids, but her husband desperately wants a baby with our DNA. After I refused to be their surrogate, he started stalking me to force a pregnancy. So, here's the deal, I'm a 30-year-old woman with an identical twin sister, who we'll call Stacy. Sadly, our mom passed away while giving birth to us, so our dad raised us. Fast forward, Stacy has been hitched to Jeff for 8 years, and I'm dating Mike for 3 years now. Growing up, Stacy was always the one dreaming about being a mom. She was obsessed with wedding plans, nursery ideas, and baby names. As for me, I was more into books and having a good time. Now, I'm living my dream as a flight attendant, and I'm also trying to get my first book published. Stacy never really went into the workforce. After high school, we both went to college, and that's where she met Jeff. From there, it was pretty much being a stay-at-home girlfriend until they tied the knot. I know she's been trying for a baby for ages, but it just hasn't happened. She's had a miscarriage and spent a ton on IVF and other treatments, but no luck. After 5 years of trying, they're considering other options, but Stacy isn't into adopting. She really wants a child with her and Jeff's DNA, her desire, not mine. About 3 weeks back, she came over, and we were just chilling, watching some Modern Family reruns. Out of the blue, she said she had something serious to ask me. It was kind of a big deal, and she seemed nervous. She asked if I could be her surrogate. I was stunned for a second, and then she told me she wanted me to carry her baby. I've never been into the idea of having kids, maybe because of our birth story, but honestly, having kids just isn't my thing. I told her I'd be happy to donate my eggs to help her out, like, she could have as many as she needs, but I just can't carry the baby. She got really mad, like, red in the face mad, and was yelling about how I'm apparently jealous and spiteful. I didn't want to bring it up, but if she wants 4 or more kids, would I be expected to do this every single time? I don't know. I'm starting to feel really guilty. She even broke a picture of us and stormed off. We haven't talked since except for the texts she's been sending me of her childhood diaries and vision boards, saying I'm stopping her from having a family. My boyfriend Mike doesn't want to weigh in, saying it's my sister and he doesn't feel right giving advice on something so touchy. Seriously, this is the longest I haven't spoken to her, and I'm almost ready to cave in. Am I in the wrong for saying no to being her surrogate? Edit, I've been reading your comments, and thanks a lot, it's comforting to know I'm not the bad guy here. But I won't lie, I'm sort of leaning towards just saying yes because this distance from my sister is really eating at me. To answer a common question, money isn't a problem for us since our father successfully sued the hospital for the mistake during our mom's delivery. We both have trust funds, and her husband is financially well off, too. So, neither the 9 months off work nor the egg retrieval costs are an issue. It's more about her wanting the baby to share our DNA because we're twins. The whole reason she can't carry a baby is due to a car accident we were in. She and Dad took the worst of it, which led to her miscarriage and her body not being able to carry a child now. She's also had major issues with egg retrieval. I don't know all the details, but it's just not working out. It's tough to get her to talk about options that aren't viable, so I can't fully understand the situation. So, I was asked if I wanted to be a surrogate because, well, I haven't had kids yet. Big, thanks for that info. We've got a family dinner coming up this Thursday. We always get together for some football with our dads and partners, so if my sister shows up, I'm guessing this whole surrogate thing is gonna come up. I'm planning to bring it up if I get the chance. Fast forward 2 days, and even though I told you I'd update you tomorrow, my dad called me while I was out chilling, telling me to drop by for dinner last night so we could chat. I owe a big thanks for all the advice and comments, even from those who were kinda rude to me, my sister, and my boyfriend. Your input still meant a lot. When my dad called, I didn't even ask what was up. Based on the comments, I kinda figured he had a talk with Stacy. Now, I know some of you won't be too thrilled, but I did talk to my boyfriend about how he'd feel if I went ahead with this. He was sweet, said he loved me and would back me 100%, except he wouldn't stand by if my sister was forcing me into it. If that was the case, he couldn't support it, which I totally get. So, we headed over to my dad's for dinner, and my sister and her husband were already there. I said hi to both, but only my sister replied, while my brother-in-law gave me the stink eye and only greeted my boyfriend. Awkward much? My dad sat us down, and it was so tense you could practically cut it with a knife. He was like, okay, someone needs to talk so we can sort this before tomorrow's game, because he is all about football. I kicked things off by saying I'd done some homework, and aside from my original worries, I had a few new ones. I needed to know what exactly she needed from me. When I asked her about being a surrogate, she just asked if I had agreed. I said no, just needed details, and she started crying. I asked if she knew a doctor would probably say no since I haven't had a successful pregnancy. She admitted she knew and said she'd just pretend I was with her husband at some top-notch center, and once I was inseminated, I'd transfer to her OB/GYN for the rest. My dad jumped in, saying asking me to do something a doc wouldn't back was a horrible way to start motherhood. You could tell he wasn't into the idea, but he didn't want to pick sides, either. He asked her why she was so against using a surrogate, and that's when my brother-in-law butted in, calling me selfish for not helping my sister. That totally changed the vibe. My boyfriend started defending me, and my dad insisted no one disrespected his daughters in his house. Things got heated, fast. My sister was in tears, practically begging me to help her. I told her if I could switch places with her, I would, but I was freaked out about the whole thing and didn't want to risk my life. I think that was the first time I'd ever said that out loud. We couldn't smooth things over after that. My dad ended up asking my brother-in-law to leave since he couldn't control himself, and the guy wouldn't apologize. As my brother-in-law left, my sister asked me to step out onto the porch with her for a chat. She apologized for her husband calling me names, saying they're just stressed out. I told her not to apologize for him and that we'd figure something out. She was pleading with me to reconsider, saying I didn't get it or understand. When I pressed her, she admitted her in-laws made a crappy joke about her being a murderer because of the baby she lost. She said she asked her husband why he didn't defend her, and he said it was because the joke was true. He made these weird comments about how he couldn't wait to see what their kid would look like and how he'd never be able to look at a child and see bits of both of them. So, it seemed like he was all for the surrogacy idea and kinda planted it in her head, even though she thought it was hers. So, my sister was saying she hadn't seen her husband so hyped since their baby was born. She called me up, needing my help to make things normal again. I tried spelling it out for her that nothing's gonna be normal and that she was barking up the wrong tree. But then her husband starts honking the car horn like crazy, rushing her out, and she tells me she'll ring me later. Honestly, I'm scared I might lose my sis over all this, but there's no way I'm donating my eggs for her to have a kid with that guy. After getting some advice, I checked out the whole egg donation process, and wow, it was nothing like I expected. I really want her to ditch him. No way I'm helping her have a kid with that dude. I'd seriously consider being a surrogate for her to be a single mom before helping her have a baby with him. I didn't realize how much pressure his family was putting on her, either. Every time my phone rings, I jump, 'cause I know she's gonna call, and I'll have to tell her I'm scared of losing her, but I can't and won't do this. I thought I wouldn't update again, but here I am, so much has happened, and it feels oddly freeing to type all this madness out. A lot of you warned me to be careful around my brother-in-law, worried he might get violent. I didn't take it seriously, thinking it was just a hiccup and that I knew my family. Boy, was I wrong. My sister called back the next day, but I missed it 'cause I was in the shower. I tried calling her after, but no luck. The day was going okay until we headed to my dad's for football. Kickoff just started when my sister asked my dad to step outside and talk to her husband. Dad wasn't having it, saying he could wait till a commercial or come in and apologize to everyone for his disrespect. My sister tried to draw some parallels with past situations, which just set my dad off. He was like, "I didn't raise you to shrink yourself for any man. I'm sorry if I failed you," and she just teared up and left without a word. After the game, I found my car with 2 flat tires and a busted window. Dad put temporary tires on it and towed it into his garage. He told me not to worry, use his other car, and he'd fix mine. He offered for me to stay over, but I passed. I texted my sister a bunch after this, but I'll keep most of it private. Basically, I told her that loving a guy shouldn't mean wrecking your family. She said our family is already busted and I wasn't helping her fix it. Tried calling her again, but no response. On my drive home, I realized a car was tailing me. When I got a good look, it was my sister's mother-in-law's, which has this unique decal I haven't seen anywhere else. I freaked and called my boyfriend, asking him to meet me at my place. As soon as I pulled into my driveway, the car followed suit. Thankfully, my boyfriend was right there and ran out as her husband stepped out, yelling, "I just wanted to apologize." They got into it a bit before he jumped back in the car and sped off, hitting my boyfriend's car on the way but not on purpose. After all that, I didn't feel safe at home, so I packed up and headed to my boyfriend's. My dad put up a camera and floodlight at his place, but I'm not sure I want to go back there, even though I know I'll have to eventually. So, at some point, I tried reaching out to my sister, but she didn't get back to me at all that night or the next day. Not long after, I started noticing a red car tailing me one day, and then a black one the next. I know it might sound like I was just spooked and imagining things, but whenever I'd head towards the police station, as per my dad's advice, these cars would disappear as soon as the station was in sight. On Sunday, I was at brunch with friends to celebrate one of them getting married soon and to chat about bridal shower stuff. The waiter came up to tell me my husband was at the front, saying it was an emergency. Thinking it was just my boyfriend and a mix-up, I went to see what was up and found my brother-in-law there instead. I approached him quietly, trying not to make a scene, and asked him to leave or I'd call my dad. He said things had gone too far and he wanted to apologize. We were sort of awkwardly standing in the doorway, with people squeezing by saying excuse me, so I suggested we step outside to talk. Once we were outside, he said sorry for calling me a bitch and claimed he didn't mean it. Then, he tried to explain how hard things were for him. I cut him off, saying that I didn't care because his behavior was getting chaotic and abusive to everyone, not just my sister. He said he understood my perspective but wanted me to reconsider. He reached toward my stomach, which made me step back and tell him he needed to leave. I suggested setting up a time to talk with my dad, but pointed out how his following me was a big problem, and we could discuss it later. If not, I'd call the police. As I was walking back to the restaurant, he yanked a fistful of my hair and told me not to walk away. Honestly, everything after that is a blur. Some bystanders stepped in, and he took off before the cops could arrive. We filed a report a couple of days later, but then he showed up at my airport terminal, trying the same emergency lie to get to me. He refused to leave and was arrested. After being bailed out, he started sending me the most disgusting messages. My sister left him after his stunt at my workplace and is staying with our dad, but she's been asking me to drop the charges. She keeps saying he didn't hit me in the restaurant, despite the fact my scalp was bleeding from when he pulled my hair, and I had scratches on my neck and arms from when he got aggressive with those who tried to help. His texts are full of vile threats, like how he plans to get me pregnant so I'll be stuck with him forever, how he believes I'm destined to give him a son, and if I resist, we'll both die before he gives up. It's seriously scary stuff. I blocked his number, but he's been using random apps to keep up the harassment. I've told the police, but without proof it's him, they can't do much until he acts on something. I'm constantly terrified now. My boyfriend drives me everywhere. Even on regular precautions, I'm super anxious and barely sleeping. I screenshot every message to my sister but she stopped responding. Dad asked me to stop because it's too much for her, but I told him she defended him in all this, so she needs to see what her husband is doing. I feel so defeated and don't know if things with my sister can ever go back to normal. Plus, I hate feeling like I've taken over my boyfriend's life. He's super supportive, not complaining or anything, but his gym sessions are often cut short because he's picking me up or dropping me off. When I have work trips, he has more time, but now, we're kind of living together out of necessity. I like it, but I'm not sure if he does. We even argued over the AC temperature the other day. I feel like my life is spiraling out of control and it's hard to even breathe. Update a week later, so, my brother-in-law is still stalking me. I don't even want to get into all the reasons why, but he's determined to get to me. So, the whole situation spiraled into chaos after I decided to unblock his number, following some advice because the cops said they couldn't trace messages from unknown numbers back to him. And guess what? He sent me a few texts from his real number, insisting we need to talk and sort things out. Obviously, I ignored him, but the weird messages from unknown numbers kept coming. I can't be sure, but I always have this creepy feeling that I'm being followed. Like, when I go to Dunkin' for coffee, I swear there's a blue car tailing me. It's freaking me out so much that I took a break from work, ditched my apartment, and moved in with my fiancée. I ran into him at the grocery store the other day, and he creepily rubbed my back from behind. I freaked out, screamed, and tried to draw attention, but he acted all confused and apologized, seeming super genuine. Everyone around just accepted his apology for me, and I was left stunned, unable to even speak. The very next day, my apartment got broken into and trashed. Then, I got a message from another strange number saying things would only get worse. I'm completely terrified. My sister, living with my dad, insists it's not her husband. She says he's been trying to clear his head and is out of state because he realized things have gone too far. I don't even know how to convince her he's lying, and the police are no help since technically he hasn't harmed me physically yet. I'm stuck in this horror show, scared to leave my apartment, and desperate for any legal help or advice. Flash forward 4 days, and things got even crazier. Reddit has been amazing, honestly. I was looking into temporary apartments because I thought my boyfriend needed his space back. When he found out, he proposed. So now I'm engaged, and it feels great to stay at his place. I shared everything on Reddit about my brother-in-law's behavior. After that grocery store encounter in my trashed apartment, cameras were installed. I've been laying low at my fiancé's place, but my sister was ignoring me until she called out of the blue, sobbing. I was worried something happened to our dad, but she confessed she'd been keeping tabs on her husband and knew he was stalking me. She finally went to the police, who then reached out to me. We talked for hours, and she told me about her realization after he pulled some aggressive stunt, leading her to investigate. She apologized for the pressure and admitted that, while she'd like to blame her husband fully, she was a bit shocked too. She's staying with me until her divorce goes through, which shouldn't be too hard due to a prenup. By the way, my dad accidentally spilled the beans that my sister had proof her husband broke into my place but was deciding the right time to act. My dad told her she had no choice but to tell the police, and she actually went with it. So here we are, dealing with this mess together. So, I gave it to her so she'd get it, but honestly, I'm still not totally sure how I feel about everything. I'm glad she eventually made the right call, though. Anyway, the next day the police showed up at my fiancé's place. They took my statement and told me they were going to have an undercover cop follow me around for a day. If this guy was tailing me, they'd arrest him. They didn't tell me what car they'd be using, just said it was happening right away. They advised me not to freak out if I felt someone was following me. Can you believe they caught the guy just 2 hours after I left my fiancé's apartment? We were out on a date, and at the third place we stopped, they pulled him over. He got arrested right there. I celebrated a bit too much that night and had one too many margaritas at the restaurant. A detective mentioned I'd get a call from the DA's office, probably tomorrow. Honestly, with how things have been, I'm not holding my breath that they'll do much, but I'm hoping since they have his phone, there might be proof he sent those texts to me. That could really add to whatever punishment he's going to face. Oh, and on a happier note, I'm flying back to work this week and I'm so pumped to get back to my normal routine. Also, today's football games were awesome. I watched them with my sister, dad, and fiancé. Fingers crossed I won't have to update this story again. Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more crazy real life stories happening around you.